What's the greatest legal loophole you found in life? My little brother got a job at Harvard. He didn't have a college degree. He was allowed to take one class a semester, or something like that. It took him 10 years, but he got a degree from Harvard in archaeology. I finished my BA at American University in DC as an employee. 3 years of 9 free credits a semester while working full-time. Great cheat code. Had a friend take a summer course at New York University. You didn't have to be a student for this course. Ended up in the system and signed up for fall classes, becoming a student without ever going through the admissions process. Classes got harder in year 2, and he transferred out, but we considered him the act like you belong king for a while after that. At one point, there was a statute in Virginia that essentially said if there was no one manning the booth to get on the toll road, you were not responsible for a fine if you ran it, because otherwise you had to have exact change. But in my area, they ended up completely unmanned after a certain hour, so I had a letter I provided my friends as a template so that they could completely avoid this hefty fine. Worked for all of us.
Virginia is the only state I've been to that actually took the toll off of a road because they'd made enough money. Unheard of these days.
It used to be cheaper for me to take a class at a nearby university and get student health insurance that way than it was to just buy health insurance. If you get really lucky, you can find a professor who'll let you do a 1-hour independent study, and it's even cheaper, and if they're cool with your reasons, you won't even have to work that hard. Haven't checked out the prices or done a comparison lately, but it's always an option, as long as you don't pick an online class that doesn't qualify for health insurance. Plus you would be able to take advantage of any other benefits that come with having a valid student ID, discounted admissions to attractions, cheaper groceries on certain days, etc. Jesus Christ, your healthcare system is messed up. You ready for it to get even more wild? Our dogs have better insurance than my wife, and easier access. She hasn't been able to see a non-emergency in years. Meanwhile, our dog has racked up $30,000 in medical bills the last 2 months, and 90% of it will be reimbursed. And we got him into the top veterinary hospital in this part of the country the next day. My wife can't get in to see an optometrist, but our dog's acupuncture is covered. I once got a speeding ticket for driving 52 in a 35 mph/USA. I was driving on a stretch of road that was only about a mile long, intersections at both ends, and there were no speed limit signs on the road. All adjacent roads had a posted speed limit of 35, so one would assume that the speed limit on the road I was stopped on should be 35. However, state law dictates that the default speed limit on county roads when not otherwise posted is 50 miles per hour. I took pictures of the road at several places to show that there were no posted speed limit signs and brought those pictures to court when I challenged the ticket, and the judge dropped the ticket. This isn't truly great in the grand scheme of things, but for a moment, I felt like I had just won the greatest legal case in history. I missed out, but I love the gold dollar fiasco. In 2008, the US Mint produced more than 1 billion new gold dollar coins. Nobody wanted them, so they figured maybe if they offered free shipping, then people would order some online. Some clever folks ordered bukus of them using credit cards that gave rewards, frequent flyer miles, etc. When the coins were delivered, they just deposited them into their bank accounts, paid off the credit card bill, and went to Hawaii with their free frequent flyer miles. A local online retail store, think H&M, ran a competition to win a $150 off coupon. I naturally entered with my account, my sister's, and my mom's. All 3 of us won, and the coupon code sent to all of us was the exact same. So I figured if I created a different email every time, I'd continue using it, which I did, for the whole year until the expiration date, and by that time I had spent over $5,000 without them noticing. This feels like when I ordered Jimmy John's in college and they messed my order up. They gave me a replacement order and added a couple of cookies and a drink to my sub as an apology, which was cool. For whatever reason, if I hit the express reorder or whatever it was called, it would go through as free again. I didn't want to make it obvious, so I used it like once a week until the website interface changed, and it stopped working. It was a while ago, so I don't remember exactly how long this lasted, but it was something like a year and a half. I was able to use a gift card that had a balance of around $1.50 on a vending machine that charges $2.10 for a soda. I'm guessing it checked if the card was pre-approved for $1. Then the actual charge was denied. I was paranoid about using it, but it was pretty much an unlimited drink card. Didn't feel too bad because the machine cheated me many times over the last 20 years. Not a legal loophole, but a business one. The New York Yankees, in their late 90s heyday, had a trick to get playoff and World Series tickets. Since orders were taken over the phone and batch processed overnight, there would inevitably be data entry errors or over limits that would kick a sale back and those tickets back into the available pool. Simply calling at opening the day after tickets went on sale got us tickets to every postseason game we wanted to go to for years until they switched to real-time credit card processing. Paid off an insurance company $5 a week until it took so long they settled the debt $2,000 less than what I owed. They couldn't take me to court as long as I paid something. Had a very similar experience with medical debt that went to collections while I was fighting with insurance to cover it. Paid the absolute minimum monthly for a couple of years. They eventually offered to forgive the debt for a significantly reduced portion of the remaining amount. Originally, my logic was just, "F these guys. If I have to pay them, I'll make it suck for them as much as I can." But it eventually worked out even better. I was sent to collections once while in grad school. If I remember correctly, the clinic accidentally sent it to collections the exact same day the bill was issued to me. I gave the medical debt company hell. I think proper procedure would have been for the clinic to recall it from collections, but collections wrote it off. Obscure high-end and totally overpriced food online shop had a rating feature that gave you reward points for the store. Don't remember how many points per review, and they only accepted about 1 in 3 reviews that I wrote, but I was in school and had time. Got about 200 to 250 euros in overpriced food out of it. But hey, it was free, since my time wasn't valuable back then, or at least I thought so. I was scared about the legality, so I did not exploit it by using multiple accounts. I stopped after some months when they dropped the rewards feature. Looking back, I am still amazed that nobody ever noticed that one person wrote about 1,000 reviews on expensive food items but never bought anything, apart from the 3 or 4 orders I did when I reached about 70 euros in bonus points. Man, I work in e-commerce and would be absolutely stoked to pay $300 for 1,000 human-written reviews of our products. You even helped them out by spreading it across accounts so it wasn't obviously one person, even though they almost certainly knew. To help build your kids' credit, make them an authorized user on your cards. Don't actually let them use it, but your use and payment on your card seems to transfer to the kid. My stepson had a 730 credit score at 21 without ever taking out any cards/loans himself. Another credit tip: if you file bankruptcy and need to build credit and have some cash, take out a secured loan with a bank/credit union. You have to front the money in a savings account and make payments, but there is no reason to get turned down, and it rapidly builds your credit back. Yep, I'm in my 30s and have a 28-year credit history because of this. Here's a fun story. With American Express, your member since year is the year in which the oldest account you were an authorized user on was opened. My father added me as an authorized user a year or so after I was born, in the late 80s. But he opened the account in '78. So my Amex cards all have member since 1978 printed on them, even though I was born in the late 80s. Until recently, it's shown up on my credit history as well. My oldest card on my credit report is older than I am. His also helps prevent identity theft. If a fraudster randomly picks your kid's SSN to build a fake credit profile on, by the time your kid is applying for their own credit, they may look like the fraudster. Having your kid as an authorized user building a credit profile can also help companies know where to reach out if their SSN and other identity info is used. Do check with the credit card company if they actually report authorized users to the credit bureaus. Not all do. I had the Domino's Pizza app, and they had a short-lived code for a week mid-pandemic for 50% off. They pulled the coupon, but I saved the code. I manually input it every time I ordered. It worked for a year and a half, and I saved a bloody fortune on pizza. It did sting a lot afterwards having to look at the regular price for a pizza. I did Friday pizza night every week for the family, so it added up quickly.
Airbnb related. If someone messages you about having more guests over than what you specified on the booking and claims they have you on camera, check to see if they disclose cameras on the property. If not, you do not have to pay for the nights you stayed.
If they don't message you, can you still do that?
I would say so, yeah. If you find cameras on the property and it's not disclosed on the listing, definitely inform Airbnb about it. In my situation, I stated that 4 people were going to stay the night. Between 8 to 10 p.m., we had guests over for drinks and dinner, and they left. The Airbnb host messaged me that night at like 1 a.m. stating that any additional person on the premises would be an extra $8 per head, including screenshots of camera footage of them on the front porch. I messaged Airbnb about this, and it was disputed that not only do I not have to pay for that night, but because he didn't disclose having cameras and tried to demand additional money that was not in the agreement going forward, he would only be allowed to have one listing active at any time with Airbnb. The guy had like 6 houses up on Airbnb, each making him like $200 a night. He completely shot himself in the foot.
In college, I lived with my girlfriend. We had renter's insurance that I managed. I left for 6 months to go to grad school in a different state, but only took a portion of my things. She moved into a different place with a friend of hers. They decided that her friend would keep her rental insurance because it was cheaper. They had a pipe burst while they were out of town for a few weeks and lost everything. Turns out, her friend's policy was cheaper because it was capped at $10K. I'm lazy. I never called my insurance company to cancel my policy. Midway through their fight over the money, I called my company and said, "Hey, I moved but didn't tell you, am I still covered?" They were like, "Sure, we insure your stuff, not the building." The claim ended up being close to $50K and was a nice way of replacing all my old crap from college before starting real life. Also, for the same claim, the adjuster got so tired of reviewing receipts they just paid the max and let it go. Cruise ship casino. I was gifted $200 in credit to pay for ship extras/activities when I ordered my cruise package. When I got to the casino, I realized you could load that credit into the slot machines. After one round of testing with depositing a small amount and immediately cashing it out worked, I went back and came out of the casino with 2 crisp $100 bills, never placing a bet.
My dad got a parking ticket. On the ticket, it said the car was black. My dad's car was dark green. He contested and won. This was before they took photos, and I guess they just didn't press it, but still, no charge.
You can experiment on yourself all you want and don't need legal permission to do so.
What do you mean I can't surgically attach an AR-15 to my forearm, officer?
Well, you can, but it's not going to work out well. That recoil is not going to be kind to wherever the attachment points are. I went to Hawaii, all expenses paid, for a job interview that I was not qualified for. 3 nights at a decent hotel and free airfare.
Have everything put into an irrevocable trust. If your car is damaged by a pothole, go to the city's website and search for the road maintenance and car repair portal, and you can get reimbursement. Just document and keep records.
Most people know if you get a ticket, you can pay it and have it requested not to be reported to insurance. You can do this for every ticket every 2 years. If you get another ticket before the time limit, go to court and request a trial by jury, which shifts the burden of proof to the cop and buys time. Most ADAs aren't going to bother and offer a plea of doing defensive driving and paying the fine and no report on record. For any traffic ticket, it's better to get legal counsel even if it's with a public defender. Court is usually always a better option if you can spare the time. In a small municipality, go to court and tell them you want to have a trial by jury and request footage, etc., from the officer. Put them on defense. And well, friends, that was all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, let me know with a thumbs up so that YouTube can share these stories with more people. Remember to hit the bell icon to be the first to know when we upload a new video. See you next time.